All right, so if you're in North America, you own a Vivo phone, you want to know how to restore and back up your phone data, not by Google Cloud, but through internal storage or through Vivo settings, right? And the reason why I make that distinction is because when you do a backup through Google Cloud, you're restrained to doing backups that only allow for messages, contacts, apps, videos, and photos. Now, Samsung and OnePlus, they have settings where you can actually do backups in the phone's internal storage, and it goes beyond that. You can actually do backup of your settings and your home screen and app settings. Why might that be important to you? Well, if you're a user that, has a Samsung phone and then you go into the next Samsung phone, you could do the backup so that when you boot it and restore it, your app icons, layout, settings, they're all, as they were before. Saves you time. You're not going to get that with the Google Cloud backup, which is why I'm covering this more extensive backup method. So let's get into it. These steps are going to apply to any of the X100 series phones and any of the Vivo X200 series phones. The one I have here is an X100 Ultra. So let's get into the phone. And so let's go into settings. And I got some bad news for you. So when we go to System, Manage, and Upgrade, when you click Backup and Restore, right now it's going to show me this menu because I've already created and logged into a Vivo account. So when I click now Cloud Backup, it's going to show that it's going to make an attempt. And I've tried this multiple times, but it will not work. So right now is the part where I'm going to fast forward so that you don't have to wait. And you're going to see that this is going to say backup failed. Okay, so there we go. You see there that even though you make an attempt, it'll do backup failed. Now I've tried this multiple times through this menu. I've also even gone back up here. This is where you're going to go to the settings to go direct to your Vivo Cloud. And I'm logged in. To get an account, you have to use a number. Obviously, since I'm in North America, it's a United States number. But when I go through this menu, when I click backup, it'll give me this prompt that says the service is not currently supported in your region of your account. And so that's one of the things, unfortunately, that you cannot do cloud backups if you're in North America, because this again is a Chinese phone. You're not connected to their servers. So cloud backups are not an option for you. So I did some research and a lot of people aren't talking about this, and that's why I'm making this video. So your next alternative will be to do an OTG backup. I've searched this phone settings, and it, again, as you saw, when you go through here, it does not allow you to do backup through to the phone's internal storage. The only other method is to do a backup to OTG storage. So this here is a pen drive. It is USB-C 3.1 with OTG support. And so I've found that this is a method that would allow you to do for backups. Alrighty. So another thing I want to say is I was doing a lot of trial, and I noticed that even when I connected this the first time, this did not automatically happen. So that might be because I'm going to disconnect that real quick. You're going to want to go to the reason why it's working now is because I've enabled a setting. But if you go to more connections, what I noticed was I had to enable this OTG setting. So once you've enabled that, and then we're going to go back to that backup and restore. If you're having issues with the pen drive, want to go do that first, and then you want to do backup to OTG. Now you can actually do your backup of your phone to this pen drive. It's going to say it wants to do backup and restore to all things. You can do it to photos, videos, call logs, SMS, contacts, calendars. I'm just going to do everything by default. Okay. I'm going to do a new backup. It's going to analyze. And this is why you might want to do this kind of backup. Like I said before, when you do some privacy data cannot be backed up, we're going to just go ahead and say ignore. But now this is where you can do like a more full backup, because Google Cloud is not going to allow you to do system features. This is going to be really important because Maybe you've created some clocks. And if you know, with Vivo phones, there's a lot of battery tweaking features, and that's supposed to help you save those settings to save the time. So once you've gone ahead and gone through these steps, you can start to do is start backup. It's going to tell me to do my lock screen. Let me just do that off to the side. Okay. Why is it taking a while? Okay. So once you've done that, it's going to tell you make sure it has enough power, do not operate things. So we're going to just make attention to that. Okay, it's telling me to do my lock screen yet again. All right. And then interestingly, Vivo then also wants you to set up a backup password to trigger when to restore this. So we're going to go ahead and set a password. We're just going to make a quick one. Right? Yeah, this is an interesting method because there's a lot of safeguards that they put. So we've set the password. You can go ahead and set a tip. I'm going to just, oh, it's required. So I'm just going to say whatever. I know what the password is, but I'm going to go ahead and put the tip. And now it's backing up the data to the pen drive. And this is how you're going to want to restore, back up your phone other than Google Cloud. It's going to give you a lot more options to saving your data. So I'm going to fast forward this part so that you don't have to wait through this till it gets to 100%. You've done a successful backup now to the pen drive. So if we go return to the home page, these are some previous backups that I've done. We know how to do a backup. Let's try to do a restore. So if you click there, now it's going to prompt me. I'm trying to restore an older one. So let me see if I remember the password. If not, I might have to reset it. Alrighty, so I was successful in getting that previous backup, and so it recognizes the data in the pen drive. I'm going to click restore, and so now I'm reverting back to an older backup. Now, this is the weird part where I've noticed, even though it's saying it's going to restore my system features and settings, I've noticed that it actually doesn't do all the carryover of the system features and settings. So that might be something of a disclaimer, to take note of. I've used other phones like Samsung, OnePlus, and I've not had this issue where when I want to do a restore, that it doesn't carry over. With this, I've noticed I've tried to get my home settings and more particularly my battery app saving configurations for certain apps, it will not carry over. So right now I'm going to show you that I've restored to this older one. I'm going to return to the home page. Okay. So for this one, so here I went back to a March 12th backup, and it looks like take note of the home screen. So it doesn't know how quite to integrate some of the new installed apps, so it just kind of puts them off to the side. So that looks okay. I do remember this page was shown as this, and this is correct so far. Let me go ahead and change it back. And more importantly, I want to go into some of the app settings to show you that the restore, unfortunately, from my experience, it doesn't carry over those configurations for notifications over. And let me just put that in. And so this is the backup that you guys saw on camera, the first one. I'm going to restore that. And so I'm going to now throw this chart on the list on this video. And what I did was I tried to make some modifications to 3 settings for these apps here, because I wanted to see if their configurations carried over when I do a restore. What I found from my experience is that even after a restore, it will not carry over these. What that means is you're going to have to make these tweaks all over again, which could be tedious. And I wish someone would have covered this, because with Vivo phones, you do have to make these three um, configurations per app, and it could be tedious. So after we do this restore, I'm going to go ahead and look into these settings and see if it carried over. Again, I've noticed that it does not, but we'll see. My recording device died, so I had to recharge it, but I'm back here now. So as we last saw, we saw that when we did the restore, it completed, but some of it failed, some of the apps. And so didn't know quite what it was saying, what failed, but I want to show you now something that's interesting and I found a bit confusing when doing these backups with restores with Vivo. So it does kind of look like the layout has been restored, but it kind of also doesn't fully retain the full layout what it was previously because it combines the restored and whatever else was there. So it's easier to explain when I show you. So screen here looks correct. This one looks correct. That looks correct. This looks correct. And then it's for some reason added this screen here, which honestly didn't even exist. But it looks like because I backed up and restored the 312 file, it kept some of that data of the layout and mixed it with the new restore that I just did with you guys on camera. So just some things to note and odd behaviors. Um, when I've done restores, and I've not found that issue when I do restoring of backups on OnePlus and Samsung, but for whatever reason, this occurs here with the Vivo phones. The next thing I wanted to point out, in my experience, I noticed that the app settings sometimes would not carry over, especially the app setting tweaks that I do for the apps individually for real time notifications. When if you know with Vivo phones, you got to make tweaks to auto start and two other settings individually on apps. And so I just want to go over those real quick. And I'm going to throw this chart now on the video segment because I did make some notifications to certain apps and not to others. So the first one, Google, we're just going to look at the auto start apps for starters. So Google Voice, we did say we wanted that enabled, and so that looks like that retained. Venmo, we wanted that enabled. Auto start, that looks like that kept. And Shop, we wanted that as enabled auto start, so that's good. That kept. PayPal, that stayed as enabled. Amazon, we had that disabled. Now TikTok, on my chart it says that it should be disabled. I enabled it. I think I actually may have, um, actually enabled that. So this one for TikTok, we're just going to disregard it as disregard this test case. But YouTube, everything else is lining up. YouTube disabled. That looks like that stayed. And CapCut, I never made any tweaks. We can disable that from this as a test too. So there's two tests. We're going to disregard TikTok and CapCut because even though they're on my chart, I actually never actually made those tweaks. So disregard that. All right. So now we're going to go to the apps. We want to make sure that my chart for just the other apps is carried over. So let's look at voice. So with voice, the X on the pause means that it was disabled because by default, Vivo wants this setting as disabled. So that's good. It remained as disabled on the restore. So it looks like that's saved. Backup consumption, that was enabled by default. It's on the other setting. So that's that on the restore is saved. So we're looking good. In the past, for some reason, I was noticing other things. Venmo, I said I wanted that disabled, so that's correct. So that carried over. And this is by default. I never made any changes, so that carried over. Awesome. So it looks like the settings on these are carrying over as I recorded on the chart. So for Shop, I did auto start and then I didn't change this one, the pause app. That was remained enabled, so good. But I did change that to high, so that is changing to high. So I'm going through these cases so I could show you that, that the settings work or not working, but in this case, they're working. The recovery is keeping those. PayPal, this was stayed as default, so that's good. And the battery life, I made no changes, so that's good. Okay, so my backup is working for these settings. What else? Amazon. What did I do for Amazon? Amazon, I did high background. So this is enabled by default. Good. That's how I left it. High background. Yep. And I made high background. So that's good. What else? TikTok, we disregarded because that was a bad case. YouTube. Oops. YouTube. We're going to go YouTube. See how we saved that. We said we did disable that. That's good. That's how I left it. Battery life, it should be on not high, the other one. Okay, good. All right, awesome. So awesome. I honestly felt like I did this in the past and those battery life settings were not carrying over, but I guess I stand corrected. As you can see, when you do restore in this way, those tweaks at least will carry over. So anyways, guys, I hope you found that insightful, helpful, because to be honest, I was asking other people on the phone, on the forums, and people love to talk about so much on the camera, but I really want to talk about more about this phone and what it's like as far as its OS. If you like the video, comment, like, subscribe would help, and yeah, I'll leave you more tips as they come. I hope you enjoy your experience with the phone as I am enjoying it, and I hope that I can give you guys more insight. Cheers.